It was not until I approached within 3/4 of a mile did a group of human guards meet me to check for a query of passage. This was something that was not present upon my last visit.
Let me see your business here. Have you any form of certification for the passage of your travels?
The rugged, weathered-looking man, covered from head to toe with heavy Celtic-branded armor, said, Fergus Tignalius of Riada Ron de Carthamir, key consort to the High Chief of the Northern Clan, has sent out for help, seeking assistance from the Western Kingdom into matters that pertain to strange behavior being reported about the ponies in this area, and such suspicions into odd circumstances of the reported murders of humans in which they have been associated with. The West fully understands the importance to this matter, and has responded unto the aid which so been requested. I am Mestophicus, the key advisor to the High Chieftain Brennos. He has sent me here to handle this business in the wisdom which has been sought from the West. I assure you that my credentials do not disoblige, I said, and handed him the letter which had been sent by Fergus. The man scanned it up and down for a moment before handing it back to me and responding.
Okay. They will make a room for you at the inn near the stables. Just report to the stables, and they will tell you who to meet with for tomorrow.
I grabbed the piece of parchment into my mouth and placed it into the satchel on my side. The man beckoned me on through past the two other guards to move forward with my carriage. It had been some time since I had been here, and the last time I had visited the north, I had not been responsible for the guidance of the journey, and had not handled the directions. Looking to the guard who I had handed the letter to after I had placed the letter back into my satchel, I said, Tell me, it has been some time since I have travelled to these parts. Where might I find the stables, good sir?
Down the entrance road, 200 yards, and to the right. You will see Murray. He is the head farrier. He should be out tonight for another couple of hours, so you still have good time. He will tell you where to go from there.
The man was polite and courteous in the instructions which he gave. Nodding my head and moving on, the asses and myself began to make our way towards the entrance gates of the northern keep once more. Approaching up ahead, not more than a few hundred yards away, were tall stone brick walls, which hailed upwards some 25 meters across a wooden bridge at the end of a moat. At the very center and end of that bridge were two large wooden doors, which arced into a stern close together, bordered in full, and even from there on with more so inward to consist of its entire architecture, with Celtic designs to suit the proper accord. It took only a few more minutes to reach the start of the bridge. As soon as it was, the two wooden doors began to slowly open. Audible vibrations of billowing rumbles followed in the door in each movement of which it made. As the doors finally stood to make for a full breach, the road became clear through the torches lit along the path of each building which it crossed. The night had finally entered, and I was very much weary to make for a rest, of my ass in the lead. Talion was his name, and he had been one of the finest steeds in the keep of the Western Kingdom. With a mixture between grey and a slight bay colour and black to flock down for his mane, he always kept a steady composure through thick and thin. Were it not for him, the other two asses would have fled at the sight of those moose knuckles which had presented themselves before them. I was quite proud and ready to see to it that he got good rest and made a good recovery for the journey home for when the time called for it. I could not be sure how long I would be there, or how long the solving to these matters would take, but I knew that I would have to make sure that it had all been taken care of before the Macedonians had reached over to the Western Kingdom. As the carriage made along the lighted path which led to the stables where the farriers had been, I could see so much of a resemblance to the structures and way of life which had been maintained along the western shores, in the establishment of where I had been from and served as so. The children and foals danced and played around the streets under the burning fire of the blazing lit torches placed upon stakes that were embedded into the ground, savoring in the remaining few hours which were left until they would be forced to return into the slumber in preparation for the wake of the next day. I continued on, heeding the asses at the hold of the steady work, making my way through the streets for another couple of minutes before I found the stables on the right side of the road.